Hello everyone, my name is Nick Zoshak and this is my week 1 game pitch. This game is a 2D top-down adventure game where players use the full color spectrum to defeat enemies, solve puzzles, and return color to the world. As a very basic design choice, I've decided the player will be a black ball which is void of all colors, and they must traverse each level looking for the spectrum stars, which are game objects that when interacted with, changes the player's ball to that color. So once the player obtains the color that they're supposed to be, they will need to paint the room to a certain percentage to open the gate. This percentage would be defined in a menu, level select, or something of that nature. So once the player becomes of a certain color, it's very simple. They're red, they can go in the red room, paint the room, open the gate, and leave. However, if they decide to stay around, they might find a blue star. And as we know, if we mix red and blue, we get purple. So then they can find the purple gate, open the gate, and then get bonuses such as points, lives, power-ups, or more. The enemies in the game will also be colored, and they present the player a choice to either destroy them to make their painting job easier, or just to avoid them. How destroying enemies would work was that if a player is red, and they surround a red enemy, they're of the same spectrum, so that enemy dissolves into that color and is defeated. However, the enemy is of the opposite spectrum, then they'll only become stunned, and then the paint surrounding them will dissipate. The theme and the mechanics for the game are highly reliant on the color wheel, as we see here. So as I said, if a player is red and they surround an enemy of the same color spectrum, meaning the top half of the wheel here, they'll defeat them. If the player is red and they surround an enemy of the opposite spectrum on the opposite side of the wheel, the enemy will only be stunned and then they'll break free of that paint. So this is a very basic screen as we see the player in the top right, the gray square enemy in the center, the spectrum star on the side of the left, and the gate in the bottom right. The screen on the left is showing that the player needs to get to that star, but the enemy is going to be chasing the player. However, the square enemies can only stay within the squares, going left, right, up, and down, very lateral movement. The player doesn't need to stay to this movement at all. They can move wherever they like. However, to paint a square, they need to be fully in that square. So as we see on the right, the players become red and is surrounding the red enemy with color. And once he completes this, the enemy will become defeated and make his job easier to paint the room. Similar titles are Q*bert, which is an older top-down 3D game that has players hop on different blocks to change color. Color Worlds, an online game I found, had players shooting blocks to change colors and match them. It's not quite the same, but I thought it had something to do with it as they're changing colors. Some of the opportunities of the game would be there could be very interesting strategy mechanics if there were certain colors chosen the players had to mix and maybe paint part of the room to a certain color and the other part to another without mixing them, and enemies were coming in at the same time. It could make it kind of difficult. And that would also give them very creative solutions to completing their goals. However, if this wasn't done right, it could be a very, very, very simple game that could just not really be fun and just not really worth your time. And also, I could see the coding for the game coming hard with so many color swapping so frequently. Well, that is my basic pitch for this game. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.